The Giovani Quenda deal seems to be getting closer and closer, and we're nowhere near the transfer window opening yet. Is this Manchester United being proactive? And what, more importantly, does this mean to current players in Manchester United squad, namely Diogo Dalot? Is it the end of Dalot? I want to make a live stream regarding the current Manchester United players. Yes, we've got all of the transfer rumours. We've got Giovani Quenda agreeing terms with United verbally, which we're going to talk about and go into detail on. But what does this mean for the likes of Dalot? Is this the big changes necessary at Manchester United? Is this a sign that these big changes could be coming at Manchester United? We're going to talk about concerns over the INEOS setup and what is going on. Lots and lots of reports coming out regarding other issues with sponsorship, sporting problems around their other enterprises right now as well. Manchester United dire form in front of goal, and that has been highlighted recently as well. I think, well, we've all seen it. Manchester United don't score goals, do they? But let's be honest, when the stats lay out as well and what's been said there, I'm going to go through them with you. It's quite scary reading, to be honest. But, yep, this is Forever United TV. Welcome back. It is, well, let's just say the middle of the week and what is about to be a massive couple of weeks for Manchester United with huge games of massive massive significance. Let's just say that. We've got, obviously, Everton this weekend. Then we've got Ipswich in the week. And let's be honest, I don't think anybody's confident about the Everton game, but this is absolutely huge for United. And the players have took it upon themselves, believe it or not, to go out on a little team bonding meal. Whether you think that's important or not, whether you feel like the players are actually going to learn anything from it or get anything out of it, get into the comments and let me know, is that your sort of thing? But at least the players are trying. Could we say that? At least the players are doing something? Or am I really clutching at straws there? Welcome along to the show, everybody. Please give the video a like. Make sure you have subscribed to Forever United TV. Get your comments in the live section. I am going to try and get through this without coughing away. I am feeling better. Thank you, everybody, for all of your messages. By the way, just on the back end of what was a bit of a bug, but we are on the mend. We've got watch-alongs this evening as well for the game against Liverpool and Villa and Champions League football as well. We've got a full package on Football Talks later tonight. QR code, bottom right-hand corner. If you haven't already, link in the description and in the live chat right now for our other channel. Please do go over there, subscribe to that as well. We've got plenty of content coming up later on today. Because, like I said, we are feeling a little bit better. Well, I am. I'm not about Manchester United. I'm hearing a lot of things going on. I'm looking into these stories, trying to figure out whether they are real, genuine, or if we can actually take anything from them. Namely, the Quenda situation right now. Ben Jacobs talking last night. He was the one that was going into detail on what was happening with this. And like I said at the top of the show, like talking about transfers, talking about things that are going on right now in February, you tend to not get too carried away with it. You listen to reports that Manchester United might have missed out on a certain something, or why a certain deal might have gone wrong. It's been a long time since Manchester United have actually done a sort of pre-contract agreement sort of deal for a transfer, and it looks like this is what's happening with Giovani Quenda right now. As you can see across the bottom of your screen right now, Ben Jacobs saying that Giovani Quenda, the 17-year-old right wing back, as that from Sporting, who used to play under Ruben Amorim, as you already know, has agreed verbally to join Manchester United. Now, we've been hearing stories about this now for the last few weeks, haven't we? That Giovani Quenda is fully on board with coming over to Manchester United. He wants to come to Manchester United. That's his preferred destination. I'm guessing there is because of the Ruben Amorim factor in that, and that's why he wants to come to Manchester United. But still, like, it is a big ask to try and get one of the brightest young talents out there to come to Manchester United with what looks like no European football next season. Not much really to play for, except trying to rebuild Manchester United. But that is, I think, that's a massive positive. You've got to look at that as a positive, I think, for United anyway. For what we've been dealing with recently, I'd take any sort of positive right now. But what does this mean for the likes of Diogo Dalot in particular? Is this the end of Diogo Dalot? Will Manchester United be looking to cash in? Now, we know that Real Madrid are interested in Diogo Dalot. That interest is still there. Obviously, they have gone out and bought... well, they've not bought, but we know that they've got an agreement with Liverpool's Trent Alexander-Arnold. Trent is going to be gone at the end of the season on a free transfer, and Liverpool are going to lose out on that one. But does that scupper any move for Dalot moving away? We know for definite that Manchester United will definitely take or are open indeed for offers for Diogo Dalot. I don't see how Dalot survives as a first-team player. I understand there is qualities in Dalot. I understand there is a player there, and he's been an ever-present. He's been reliable in terms of availability. His quality, I don't think has got any better. There's been times where I'm thinking Dalot has really turned the corner, but I think he needs to be sold. I'm just going to be brutally honest right now. I did a video last night which was just explaining where we're at with these players right now. We were talking about the story from Chris Wheeler from the Daily Mail, talking about Manchester United players losing faith with Ruben Amorim and losing faith with his system and everything that's in place. But personally, for me, I couldn't care less. I said it last night. And if I don't think Dalot is one of these players, but when it comes to ruthless decisions, when it comes to big decisions, which is apparently what is going to happen this summer, then Diogo Dalot is one of them players I think is on that line of, right, do or don't. I look at Dalot and I go, thank you, Dalot. Model professional, good player, should have done better. Maybe the situation with Manchester United, changing of ownership, constant changing of managers. Let's be honest, it was Jose Mourinho who brought Dalot into Manchester United. Then he went on loan to AC Milan. Struggled with Oli a little bit, and then we're going into the Ten Hag era where it looked like he'd turned the corner. One of the most improved players under Ten Hag, I thought, Dalot, but he has fallen away again, and it's always been the case with Dalot. I think it's always been the case where he has looks like he's getting there, and then just takes 3 steps backwards, and we're back to square one again. And that's Dalot's career at Manchester United. And he's been here long enough right now. 2018, I think it was when he came in. 6 years. We're in no better place. He's not looking any better a player. I don't think he is anyway. And Manchester United right now need to start making big decisions. And I think Dalot's head is on the block. I'll come to the chat and gauge where you're at. But I think the way that Patrick Dorgu has started out under Ruben Amorim, and this is where I feel like Dalot's decision on Dalot is coming. I'm not just pulling it out of thin air because Dorgu is the first player that has come through under Amorim. He's the first transfer that he's made. He likes him. Obviously, he started his first 2 games he could possibly start. He's got his first 90 minutes under his belt as well. On the left-hand side, was one of Manchester United's better performers in that game against Spurs. I think most Manchester United fans would agree with that. Very productive. Looks after the ball a lot better, a lot stronger, a lot more direct, gets to the wing and does get crosses in when the likes of Garnacho and Bruno can actually see him on the overlap, which was a big issue from that game. But I think he is the type of player that you could see works as a wing-back for Amorim already with the positions that he's taking up. Dalot doesn't get anywhere near as forward as what Dorgu has. And them little things that you see straight away, the little things that you see in players' games and how let's just say, for instance, a 3-4-3 formation would work. I look at that and what Dorgu was doing in that Spurs game, and indeed the one against Leicester as well, to a certain extent, but mainly in that Spurs game, how far forward he was getting, how available he was for the forwards. Now, if they cannot, and obviously he has known this system, he knows how to get into these positions, I just feel like a player like that, already cementing that side, and I don't think Ruben Amorim's going to drop him right now. Yes, Dalot is going to play on the right-hand side, but it does now look with this Giovani Quenda deal coming through and it looking more and more likely for Manchester United that it's going to happen. I don't see how Dalot starts games. I don't see where he fits in. He isn't willing, or he isn't brave enough to take on this role, I don't think. And someone new with fresh ideas who believes in the manager. I'm not saying that Dalot doesn't believe in Ruben Amorim, but still, when you look at this now, when you look at the situation that we're in, it is a case of players coming in certain positions, and anyone that's in the way has to be sold. I think we're at a stage now where we're looking at players that are probably coming through the academy in a few years as the ones that are going to replace these players. For instance, the left-hand side, you've got Patrick Dorgu there, you've got Diogo Leon coming through. 2 players ready to go that are direct. We've seen, obviously, the other day, I don't know if you've seen the goal that Diogo Leon scored in the under-20 game against Argentina, the winning goal for Paraguay. He gets forward, he scores goals. Again, there's 2 players there that get right to the byline, that offer pure width and what work in a Ruben Amorim system. Dalot just has not done it. He hasn't done it. There's probably moments where he has got to the byline, like He had a good game against Trent again in the Liverpool game. But I feel like the other players that are coming through right now, and I think Quenda is going to do exactly the same as what Diogo has done on the left, on the right-hand side, and I don't see Dalot starting. United have got no money. We know this. We've talked about the situation and the issues around the football club and what is going on at Manchester United. I feel like players are going to be sold, and it's going to be that drastic summer. Ruben Amorim has said that the only way Manchester United make significant signings in the summer is by selling players. I think Dalot's on the list. I really do think Dalot is on the list. Manchester United, in the likes of Casemiro coming through. Again, we've seen him in the under-18s against Chelsea. I watched him again last night against Wolves. Outstanding young player coming forward. Another teenager coming through, 17. He's going to be turning around 18. Look at the players that we've got. It's like Dogu, 20. Leon, 18. Quenda, 17. You're looking at another 17, 18-year-old coming through. This is where United are going. And this is that unspoilt as such, the unspoilt talents, the players that don't have any bad habits that are now being looked at by Manchester United. I feel that's the way that we're going to go forward. When we look at it, and it does look doom and gloom, and the future doesn't look bright for Manchester United under INEOS, the transfer situation, I feel, does need to be looked at a little bit deeper on certain things and certain deals that are going through. And that's why I picked up the Quenda one today. I didn't want to necessarily run it with the Quenda coming to Manchester United and what we can look forward to. I wanted to look at it from the other side and say, well, is this the end of the likes of Dalot? Is this now the big changes that Manchester United fans are demanding? We want to see significant change within the playing staff to basically just feel like there is something genuinely going on at Manchester United. We're not going to get, I don't feel this team is good enough to win anything this season. I'm calling it now, and I think it's not even a big statement, me saying it. Look, the luck may be in, and I would love it if we did have Champions League football. But let's be honest, this team is nowhere near good enough to compete in the Champions League anyway. There's part of me, this horrible part of me inside that doesn't want these players to succeed in a way. I hope that doesn't come across the wrong way, but I think you get what I mean. I think they've put us through this much crap. I think they deserve what they're getting right now. Because like I said last night, I don't believe that a professional footballer should be as bad as what these players are, and I don't believe that these excuses coming out are valid. I don't think they should have the opportunity to even have an excuse as to what is going on right now. I think these players are a disgrace. I really do. Not all of them, but you know what I mean in general. Where they are right now is down to them in the league, and that's where we belong. So there's a part of me that just like that. I don't want them to get away with it again by turning up on one day or for a few cup games. You know, like last season where United, they turned up for a Liverpool game at Old Trafford. They turned up for a Manchester City game. We've done that again this season. We want the whole season. We want to see progression. We want to see these players actually care in every single game. Don't just turn up because the world is watching on certain games like Liverpool, Arsenal and Manchester City, which we have done this season again like we did last season. Don't think that that's okay. And that part of me inside, it sounds horrible to say it, but that's where I'm at right now as a fan. I really don't care for these players. I'll back them on the day, I'll back them in the stadium, I'll back them on the pitch. I want them to do well and I want them to do better. But I'm going into them games and I'm honestly feeling so disconnected from them. And that's how I feel right now. And I'm just being honest. And that's how I feel as a fan. And if INEOS and Manchester United don't see, and Sir Jim Radcliffe talking about looking through the data and it just not being right. I mean, for instance, right now, Manchester United's conversion rate in the league in terms of chances is bottom besides Southampton. Manchester United's conversion rate is just over 8% this season. There's only Southampton, I think, at 7.9 who are worse than us. They don't deserve to be in this position right now where they could actually qualify. Yeah, they've done well in Europe. They have done well in Europe, and they've turned up for certain games. But again, I'm sick to death of picking out individual little moments in games and certain games where we've done well, and everyone clinging on to hope that this is how it's going to go forward. They've shown their true colours now to Ruben Amorim. And last night's video that I did was basically all around that. And we're just at a certain point right now. I don't want to go in on Dalot in particular and say that he's not. He is giving the right effort, but when it comes to big, crucial decisions, when it comes to massive decisions at the football club, players like Dalot, excuse me, players like Dalot are the type of player that's heads on the block. That's where it is, I feel. And I think that, at this point now, excuse me, is the real point where we go into the summer and look at big decisions. And I think this is where we are. I don't think there's any Manchester United fan. And come into the comments section and tell me if I'm wrong in what I'm saying, or if you disagree regarding Dalot. I just don't. I don't think right now that these players deserve what they're getting from the fans. I don't think they deserve the loyalty of the fans. I don't think they deserve the support of the fans right now. It's up to them to try and turn us around. It's up to them to try and convince us that they are worthy. But we've seen it before. We've seen this movie, haven't we? That's where we're at right now. Thank you everybody for joining us, by the way. Please do give the video a like. Make sure you have subscribed to Forever United TV. I am talking in low tone just so I can get through the video and not burst out into another coughing fit. I'm not doing too bad so far. Not doing too bad, I don't think, but I am going to try and keep it low as possible. But let's get into some of these comments from you all and see what you're actually saying around Dalot. I mean, I think we're all impressed with possibly Giovani Quenda coming into Manchester United. Good business. Good business for Manchester United. But it only comes with, I think, selling certain players. And I think Dalot is one of them. Dalot is dumb. Giving unnecessary fouls away in dangerous areas. Time to go. You are right, Adam, says JF. Are you sure you're a United fan? Says Gary. Yeah, I am a United fan, mate. I pay thousands every year to go and watch them, but you know it. Why am I not a United fan? Because I'm voicing my concerns about the future of this football club. Yeah. Not every single person has to be a stonewall, get behind everything to be a fan. We all are different in our own ways. I'm just calling out facts. I'm calling out the reality of where we're at right now. When someone try and tell me that United are where we should be, I don't believe in these players anymore. For what they're doing to Ruben Amorim, I don't think they're professional enough. And that's where we're at. That's where Manchester United are at right now. Do they deserve the support that we're getting? I don't think that they do. And I think they actually know it as well. And that picture of them players walking up to the fans after the game at Spurs, they know that they're letting the fans down right now. So what do? You go, get behind the manager, train harder, do more work, and try and rectify it the next game. Believe. Go into Ruben Amorim. What do? We need to get better. We need to train harder. We need to do more. No, the next day you're getting stories about the players losing faith in Ruben Amorim. Again, so why are we getting behind that? That's why we're turning the way we are. Andrew says, well, the situation with Dalot is the same as other players. If he keeps on failing to perform, then the manager will have to release him to bring in players who can, whether they like it or not. Yeah, agree. Mistake after mistake in the last 10 years. I can't believe it's been a decade. Yep, a decade of this. It is embarrassing how we keep on making the same mistakes, recruitment-wise anyway. Dalot is way too scared to go forward. He can't work in an Amorim side. That's from Block. That's where I'm at with it. Casemiro said he wants to stay, and why would he go on 350k a week wages, says Ander. He did that in an interview. I think, excuse me, I think Casemiro will still be sold. I do think he will be gone still. But, again, that was the proof of poor recruitment. That's what Casemiro has been at Manchester United. And I think there's a lot of Manchester United fans right now who look at Casemiro and go, on the day we were excited, on the day we looked like we bought a player that we really needed. He had a great first season. He actually said in that interview that was his best ever season as a professional. I disagree with that one completely. I think he's just playing to the United fan base on that one a little bit. And especially with doing the interview in-house on MUTV anyway. But personally, I do believe that he will go anyway. And he's still a player that's definitely going to be out in the summer. INEOS won't hang around with players like him. I think Ruben Amorim's made it clear he doesn't want him in his side, and they're not going to wait around with him on 350k a week. They'll figure something out. Louise and I have a club centred around getting rid of Dalot. We have a membership, pins and everything. I think Amorim values Dalot as a squad player, even on the bench. Personally, I sell him. And that's the point I'm trying to make. Dalot could be a good squad player. And he probably wants to be a good squad player. But Manchester United cannot wait around. We cannot hang around in holding on to players when we need to bring new players in. If the Giovani Quenda deal is sort of hanging in the balance on another player leaving, and that player is someone like Dalot, Dalot has to go. We have to move forward. He's had long enough. 6 going on 7 years at Manchester United, and you are where you are now. It's enough. It's time to move forward. But yes, Manchester United players, by the way, went out on this so-called team bonding meal. Can you bond at a meal? The table, unless it's a massive Knights of the Round Table. You're going to have some players at one end. You're going to have some players at the other. What's someone going to do? Stand up and make a speech? I get it that they're going out and they're bonding, and it looks like they're making a bit of effort. Is it all for the cameras? At the moment, I feels like I'm going a bit overly negative there, doesn't it? It feels like I am going down the negative road in terms of slagging off the players and criticising the players for trying to go out and team bond and turn things around. The word was from the report that the United players wanted to get away from Carrington, go out in a different environment, and it's all good and well, but how much can you bond really at a meal when there's that many of you? I don't know. I mean, I get the point in team bonding missions and things like that, but can you really do it at a meal? It just seems, and again, without wanting to sound really downbeat and negative about it, it just seems like it's a bit of a sort of one for the cameras for me, but I get why. I do. And I can see the positives in it. I can. It's just I'm that low with this team at the moment after watching what we are week after week after week. I just don't think anything is going to work right now. And that's just the mood that I'm in. And that's where this team and this club has put me right now. Off the field, dejection. On the field, even worse. And that's just where we're at. And I'm only being honest with where we are. And personally, I just feel like just go out and play on the pitch. That's where your team bonding should be. And you should be right behind the coach. Not coming out and talking about issues and losing faith in what Ruben Amorim is doing. I just don't think United are in that place right now. Talking about the ownership situation and Manchester United as well, and there are concerns going around. I don't know if anybody was cutting on to what was going on last night. There were reports going around about situations with INEOS. I think Sky were reporting on possibly Mercedes F1 team looking to buy out the share of Sir Jim Ratcliffe's INEOS. They have come out and said that there is nothing going on and everything is stable. But there are issues and a lot of rumours going around about INEOS at the moment and their other sporting interests and what's happening. Ben Ainsley, apparently, from the sailing team, is looking to sue INEOS. I didn't know that was happening. That was something that was on Sky last night. I had no idea. Obviously, we know about New Zealand and the issue with the sponsorship for the All Blacks in rugby union, which is ongoing right now. INEOS have had to come out and make a statement about that as well. So there's the sailing team, there's the rugby union team, there's the F1 team. Do we need to go into everything else with the football side of things? Basically, everything around INEOS and the sporting side of things at the moment is really not looking good. And that is a concern and is an opportunity, I think, for the United fan base to pile in. And I don't see the situation around the ownership getting any better anytime soon with Manchester United. When you look at what's coming up in the next couple of weeks, obviously we've got the game against Arsenal on the 9th. That game is the one where the protests are going to be outside the stadium that the 1958 group are organising. So we're going to get ownership protests and we're going to get all of that before the game. So it's going to be highlighted. That game itself is game number 15 at home for Manchester United this season, which sounds crazy because how we actually get to that many home games out there. We played so many home games compared to away games, it would seem. But that is Manchester United's 15th home game of the season. And that's only significant because that's the trigger for Manchester United season ticket renewals. I alluded to this the other day. So you've got the situation with INEOS right now and everywhere else that's piling in on them. You've got the protests and what's going on at Manchester United. That's the day that the season tickets are up for renewal, basically. And we'll get an announcement after that game as for options for fans to renew. Because if you get to 15 games and you've been to every single one of them games, you can renew your season ticket. So we're expecting them to have that open to all fans at that point. Will we get a decision on any hikes in prices? Obviously, you've add to that, and Must were talking about this as well. The Liverpool fan group as well, similar to Must, have been in constant contact for years now with FSG, who own Liverpool, and they have just froze their season ticket prices as well. So the pressure is really on Manchester United right now. And will INEOS really be that ruthless and cutthroat and up and hike the season ticket prices with everything else that's going on right now? This is a situation that we're in, and I feel this is a this is a significant one, and next month is going to be huge for the ownership side of things. Then you've got the reports coming out about the Qatari bid still being there, and they're just waiting around. They don't want to buy. The report I've seen on a few different websites now is that the Qataris don't want to buy any other Premier League club. They want to come into the Premier League, they want to own it, but they're waiting to see what happens. There was one report and one story that came out, and I don't know how true it is. I've just seen it come up. And that is that Manchester United's ownership model and what is there, if there is a problem and if there are continuing issues with the football club regarding the brick walls they keep hitting in terms of finances, PSR, and if anything changes, because obviously the whole plan has changed around INEOS and they're having to divert into different directions. Qatar are still waiting. Sheikh Jassim is still waiting there to bid. He will even come in if it is buying out the Glazer share and keeping INEOS in situ. That's what's being reported as well. And that is just a report. I'm not saying that's in any significant form. I'm not saying that is a definite. But that is one of the reports and rumours going around that they still are waiting around for Manchester United as well. So get into the comment section, let me know on that and what you feel. I'm going to get through a few of your comments now. Just under 1,000 in the room. Thank you everybody for joining us. Please give the video a like. Make sure you have subscribed to Forever United TV as well. Get involved in the poll as well, everybody. Should Dalot be at United next season? That's what we're asking right now. Straightforward question, yes or no. Should Dalot be at United next season? Have you had enough? Do all players who have been at the club that long that haven't really progressed that much, do they belong? Is this where United have been going wrong, basically? And that, I feel, is, I think, where we've been stuck. We've been stuck, and that, in the end, I feel is why Manchester United fans are angry. It's like we are just rewarding mediocrity continuously. This was a phrase that was used quite a lot, and has been used for quite a bit of time now by the United fan base. It's just we're not moving forward. We're staying still while everyone is going past us. We're not making the cutthroat decisions that other clubs are making. We're not selling certain players like other clubs are and looking to move on. I can see what we're trying to work on in the background, and the younger generation of player coming through and the better younger player and the better recruitment is there, but that's going to take a bit of time. Right now, to survive now, I think these are the big decisions. Just to roll through some general news as well. Sancho's sale for 25 million represents 10.4 million profit. We talked about this the other day. His remaining amortised cost will be 14.6 at the end of the season. His sale plus wages off the books will represent a positive PSR impact of 30 million for PSR. And that's what I'm talking about with the likes of Dalot being sold, Rashford being sold. This is where United can now make up some ground. Raphael Varane has been talking on his relationship with Erik ten Hag. It's hard to find the right words. It was a very tense times. Sometimes he had an effort to listen to the players' feedback and whatnot. Sometimes he made decisions without listening to the players' feelings. So there were ups and downs. I don't really want to bring up Ten Hag on that side of things. We all know these players, as well as Ten Hag, were all at fault for what was going on. We've said this all along. I just think Ten Hag buried himself, to be honest, at Manchester United by trying to convince everyone that everything was all right. The reason Ruben Amorim is going to last for me is because he is being honest and telling everybody what is going on. When it comes to players being sold, I want to ask the same question regarding Alejandro Garnacho, because there's a lot of people doing reports on Garnacho right now. The fact that under Ruben Amorim, Joshua Zirkzee has got as many goals as Rasmus Højlund and Garnacho put together in that time tells you everything. I think they've got one more between them, but Garnacho has not scored since Bodo Glimt. In fact, Alejandro Garnacho, and this was the report, has gone 20 games without a goal. Last scoring in Manchester United's 3-0 win over Bodo Glimt in the Europa League at the end of November. It was 3-2. I think the report is wrong with that one there. Since then, he has taken 34 shots, including a big chance to equalise against Tottenham last Sunday, but has yet to find the net. In 2025, Garnacho has struggled to make an impact in front of goal, contributing just 2 assists in his first 10 games of the year. He set up Bruno Fernandes' strike against Arsenal in the FA Cup, and latter assisted Kobbie Mainoo's goal against Steaua Bucharest in the Europa League. Now, this report is wrong. I'm just going to make sure. First of all, it was 3-2 against Bodo Glimt. He also got the assist against Liverpool for Amad Diallo, so they've missed that one out as well. That has happened this year. But again, he's a question, and he's a player that you've got to be looking at alongside Dalot. Like, is that good enough for Manchester United? If Ruben Amorim is staying, do we just try and make Garnacho work? These are the decisions that I think right now we're looking at, and they are the crucial ones. They are the ones that everybody is asking INEOS to make. They don't want them to make because it's an academy player. But this is where you have to be cutthroat. This is where you have to be ruthless with what's going on at Manchester United. And I don't think we have been before. This is the soft soaping and United bubble that's been going around the football club for the last decade. It's time things changed, and unfortunately for some fans who have become connected to certain players, it's hard. I know it's hard to let go of certain players, especially academy players like Dalot, but is that good enough? If Ruben's staying and Garnacho is struggling in this system, is it time that we move players on like Dalot, like Garnacho? Because they're not at the top of everybody's list for going. They're not. And I don't want to forget about them other players. There are plenty that need to go before Dalot and Garnacho. I know this, but that's where the value is. If United are going to move forward, do we need to be looking past these players? That's the question. Sell Garnacho for 60 million or more. Garnacho is basically Adnan Januzaj Mark II. Some people said that Januzaj was actually better, in fact. I'm just going to get into a few super chats as well. Thank you, everybody, for your contributions. You got Roz again. What is the order you try to move these players on when the summer gets here? For me, it's Rashford, then Casemiro, then Antony, then reevaluate, move quickly to move more. Well, if you look at them 3 players there, 40 million for Rashford. You've got, maybe 15, 20 million for Casemiro in the summer, max. I think that's all you're going to get. So you're looking at maybe 60 million for them. What can you get for Antony? If he carries on the form he's in for Real Betis, you're looking at a minimum of 30 million, easily, maybe more. So, realistically, you could look at Casemiro, Rashford and Antony. You could recoup near 100 million for them. I know it's a bit of an ask. But 80 to 100 million for them 3 players. And let's be honest, who are doing nothing for Manchester United. 40 million, that will be 100% profit for Marcus Rashford. That is quite significant. If Osimhen is happy to come to Manchester United, like Quenda is, that's where that money should be going. Then you start looking at the likes of Dalot. You start looking at the likes of Garnacho. Past that, can we make more money off them? And can we actually use that money to bring in better players like Quenda? Like other players that we are looking at the moment. When you look at the situation as it is, there is hope in the transfer market coming up this summer. You've got a few free transfers that you could get into. I still think United should be looking at Jonathan David. I think that is a realistic option for United. Can they convince him to come when he's a free agent? When he's got options for other Champions League football? It's going to be a tough ask. But there are options there for United, I feel, in the summer. Let's not forget. So you've got, like what you got, Ross says there with the Super Chat, you've got Rashford, you've got Casemiro, you've got Antony. 80 million minimum, I think, for them three. You've got your 25 million for Jadon Sancho. So you've got over 100 million there already that you've recouped. That should be the minimum there. Then you're looking at the likes of Garnacho. With a 50 or 60 million pound bid, or in that region comes in, I think United will sell. I think he has got his head has been turned, and I don't think he's fully convinced by what's going on at Manchester United. I really don't. So let's see what happens with him. There is a chance that Manchester United could recoup 200 million easy in certain player sales. But the only two significant, and that would be with the likes of Dalot and Garnacho both being sold as well, with the other three that we just spoke about there. You've got all of the wages going off the books in them players as well, and obviously the wages that are going off the free transfers. 150 grand a week for Christian Eriksen, 120 grand a week for Victor Lindelof. You've got around about 60, 70 grand a week for Johnny Evans as well. Tom Heaton, 40 grand a week. You can see where United are really cutting down, and there will be, if they spend it right, money to spend on significant improvements in the football team this summer. So that is there. Another super chat in from Glenn says, when the team do their bonding, will they be saying we are Venom? Don't make me laugh, mate. It makes me cough. That's banned right now. Again, just looking into the poll, should Dalot be sold? Should Dalot be at United next season? 68% of you are saying no. So near 70% of you think it's time to move Dalot on, actually, which is quite big. It's very big, in fact. Yeah, I do think that them are the big ones. They're the big decisions that need to be made. They're the significant ones that everyone's looking at right now. And if United are going to move on, we are going to have to be realistic with it. 15 million for Antony, 18.5 million for Rashford, 8.7 million for Dalot, free transfer Casemiro, free Eriksen and Arna, 14.8 million. Is that in wages, or are you talking transfer fees there, Boxing? Because that is completely unrealistic, mate. And I think you're just down in dumps at how bad these players are with that one. I still don't think Casemiro will be sold unless we get 40 million offer for him, as we can't lose money because of financial fair play. No, there will be a cut price deal. United can sell Casemiro, I think, for 25, 30 million. Into his fourth year of his contract after this year as well. I do believe. In fact, let's have a quick look at Casemiro's contract while we're on, because that's what we need to look at in terms of the reality of the situation. Let's just have a quick nosy at it right now. Right. So, Casemiro contract. Right, so he has got a double option. He's got a 4-year contract, so he's into the last year of his contract after this year. The club has the option for a 5th year, but that obviously is not going to be triggered. So, into the last year of his contract, when he was bought for 60 million, well, you're talking like, let's just quarter that out. So realistically, what you're looking at there is, well, it's reported 60 million, 60, 70, whichever you want to say. So you're looking at 15 million a season, aren't you, in terms of football finance side of things. Casemiro, I think, will be sold for approximately 25 to 30 million, and United can afford that with his 4th year of his contract. That is it, he's done. His wages that he would have earned, which is ridiculous, approximately, looking at the figures there, 60 million in wages if he sees out the 4th year of his contract. That's what he would have earned for Manchester United. Oh, that is painful. That is painful to say that. And look at them figures. That is astronomical. That is so poor for Manchester United and such bad business. It's scary when you look at figures like that and you actually realise. More quotes coming out from Raphael Varane around what was going on at Manchester United. I'll just read through some of these so you're up to date with everything that's going around right now. We had a robust discussion. We told each other some truths, but then I didn't play for almost 2 months. I said I don't agree with certain ways of doing things regarding the relationship between him and the team. It wasn't something that I thought was good for the team because some of the players weren't at all satisfied. It was not good in terms of the relationship with the coach. He said, okay, I hear what you said, and after that, I didn't play. Basically, that looked like a complete and utter bottle job moment from Erik ten Hag. That's what that was, which we've seen plenty of times before. He's talked with his feet instead of manning up to the situation. But you can see, like, look, there are always player issues. Like, should Raphael Varane be going to Erik ten Hag and having this discussion? Well, he should be, as a senior figure player. He should be going to the manager and saying, look, this is not working for certain players. And then you probably go past that and then start trying to discuss and figure out how things are. But again, like, this is one of the best defenders on the planet in Raphael Varane in his time, going to a manager, an inexperienced manager at the highest level. Let's not forget that. And he's just put him in his place. He did the same with Ronaldo, and Ten Hag was right with Ronaldo. You don't walk out on your team. It's as simple as that. And you don't go behind the club and start doing interviews with Piers Morgan. Ronaldo buried himself, so I backed Ten Hag on that. I backed Ten Hag on Jadon Sancho. But you can actually see with what Raphael Varane's come out with and said now, and this is usually what happens after a player leaves Manchester United or any club. Later on down the line, when they're not contracted into anything, they're open to speak, and this just tells you the problems that have been at Manchester United more than anything for the last few years. That's what it does. 25 to 30 million for Casemiro when he said that he's playing out his contract. Yep, that's true, mate. No, I'm talking about these terrible players. They're practically worthless, let's be honest. They are, in our eyes, like we've said, but as the club's eyes, it's up to them now to make these deals happen. It's up to them to make things actually work for Manchester United. Who is paying 60 million for Garnacho? He's playing rugby, isn't he? Says Boxing. Any player should be able to knock on the boss's door always. Yep. It's just how the boss takes it, isn't it? That's what it is. Mr. Dacia Sandero says, how good will Garnacho be when he is 25, 26? Can we see him being a top level player that we hope he might end up being? I'm not sure if he can. I'm not sure if he can. So I would sell him in the summer. His form has dropped off dramatically, hasn't it? And I think a lot of United fans were probably in the realms of, look, we just need to keep hold of Garnacho. We can't be selling academy players. And this was at a time when Garnacho was being played at the end of the transfer window, and it looked like it was a stupid move. It looked like he was working. He did do better. He did do better under Ruben Amorim towards the back end of the transfer window. He was improving a little bit. Like, he had the assist against Arsenal, he had the assist against Liverpool. He looked like he was visibly doing a little bit more. But then again, is that enough for Manchester United? That's what we're asking. I'm going to wrap up the show there, everybody. Please get your comments in below. Let me know what you think about all of the topics that we touched on, the INEOS one and the issues with all of their ownerships and sponsorships with other sporting teams. Should we be cutting the likes of Dalot and Garnacho out of this squad this summer to make room for other signings? Giovani Quenda looks like he's verbally agreed to a move to Manchester United. Do moves like that only work when you are moving out the previous issues? I'm not saying Dalot's an issue, but he hasn't been playing well enough. And that's where Manchester United need to be ruthless. Or do we keep them sorts of players who are going to listen to the manager and put as much work in as possible like Dalot does? But then again, it's the quality. Is that more important right now? Let me know in the comment section, everybody. Thank you so much for being part of the show. Get liking the video on the way out, please, as well. And thankfully I managed to get through that video just about. I will be back later on this evening. We have got the watch along for Villa and Liverpool on the show on Football Talk, so please do subscribe there as well and come and join us later on. I will be back here on FUTV Live later on as well before that. So yeah, I'll see you all later. Have a great day, everybody. Like, share and subscribe, and